Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Paisano TV. And today I am your host, Omar Lopez. Today we have a very fun segment for you guys. We're going to be interviewing someone from the school board. And we have a very fun questionnaire for you guys, so let's go towards it, okay? I'm thrilled to introduce with me, Caro Jauregui. So nice to meet you, Caro.
Yes,
I
nice to
want to
meet you.
ask, what are you running for and what district, area, all that.
Yeah. So my name is Caro Jauregui, like you said, and I'm actually running for re-election in the Whittier City School District. We now have trustee areas, probably like most parts of the state. So I currently already represent trustee area 1. My term is coming up to an end, and I want to run again so I can continue to represent my community. And so, yeah, it's a re-election to the current seat that I already have in trustee area 1 in the Whittier City School District.
Cool. Well, thank you, Caro.
Yeah.
Again, it is a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. So, just to dive into the questions. First and foremost, tell us about yourself.
I'm like, what could I say? My name is Caro. I grew up in this community. I grew up in the community that I actually now represent. So I attended, I think all of the schools, most of the schools that I currently represent. Like I said, we're in trustee areas now, but I actually live in my childhood home. So I did grow up in unincorporated West Whittier. After graduating and, growing up here graduating from high school, I went on to live in the Bay Area for 10 years. I got a full ride to UC Berkeley. Then I went into a few years later, I got a master's in public policy from Mills College. And then I missed home. So after 10 years, I moved back. And then once I came back home, I just started thinking a lot about my life, what has led me to where I'm at. And part of that included wanting to give back.
Right.
And like I said, the plan wasn't to stay in my childhood home this long, but because I went right back to where I grew up, it was really easy to want to give back and want to get involved. So that's what I did, sort of like the extracurricular work. But then in my career-wise, I've been working in what we call pedestrian safety, active transportation, so promoting walking and biking, and promoting walking and biking safety.
Right.
To ensure that the roads can be used for everyone. So that's me.
Cool. Cool. If elected as trustee, how would you advocate for equity in your entire institution?
Yeah, what an important question. One of the ways in which I think we already do that and will continue to do that is when we do have testing data, for better, for worse, one of the best ways to test, or I guess to assess how students are doing, is the state test data. So within that, you get to have a breakdown of how is every child doing from the different demographics. One of those ways already in which we already review is like English second learners, foster youth, and children who are experiencing homelessness. So we do have some special programming. It includes just generally providing more support to those families who identify within that category. That has to do, I think, more with just offering general resources. But academically, if we see that students from those particular communities are struggling, I mean, there's a whole path of intervention, which includes in part more tutoring and also smaller learning in smaller groups.
Right.
One thing that I wanted to share that I think is I hope is going to really help with our equity and continuing to always address equity, is a grant that we received. So we have 11 schools in our district. 8 of our 11 schools are now what is called community schools. So it's a grant that's offered or given through the state of California, where I think the best way to describe it is where we try to approach every child more holistically.
Right.
Where again, even though we're already like looped into different resources in the community, that program is supposed to do more of that to make sure that, children are well and then ready to learn,
Yeah.
so that they can continue to be successful academically.
Right. Going on more about academics, what are some educational challenges that you see students facing today, and how would you address them?
I think what I'm going to say is going to be really basic. um, I because this really is part of what's happening, and it's not just us. It's I think still the whole state, probably the country, is
Right.
still catching up from COVID. So the time and the way in which people learned, I think some people did really well. I think some
Right.
children did really well. In fact, I think some people did even better, learning virtually and having school that way. But the majority of students didn't necessarily, and then especially the our youngest kids.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's still a gap there, and I'll just say that we're still trying to address it with a lot of the same techniques that we've seen in the past, that are some of the things I already shared. There's more tutoring, we're trying to get more support in the classroom so that teachers have more aids if they need it.
Of course.
And I think another thing I'll say about that, since I mentioned the virtual learning, is that we actually decided to stick to still offering a virtual learning academy. So we do still have a set amount of, I don't know exactly how many kids, but we still do offer that for the kids who, like I said, for whatever reason, that's the kind of learning environment that they need. So we're trying to meet everyone's needs as best we can.
Right. And to you, what does transparency mean to you as an elected official?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think one of the biggest ways is having more like financial transparency. I wish there was a way to better explain our budget. Our
Right.
budget is massive. And we do have, through the state law and through the county, we do have to approve like I guess the best way to call them is like quarterly reports. And so I think that's a plus. So, we do those things, but those are things that we have to do per the law anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So I just wish that we could break it down better. And because, again, I know I already said this, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
It's very large document. And we get audits, so we're doing things properly. We're getting things passed and approved.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not that we aren't doing right by our voters and our children in that sense, but because I think it's public money, I think the best way we could work on transparency overall is being more transparent about the budget in terms of sharing it out more,
Right.
explaining it more, that kind of a thing is what I think we could be doing more of.
Okay. Okay. How do your values go hand in hand or align with those of your institution?
Well, our mission statement is every child, every day, every student first, something like that. And I do think that, when we're making those difficult decisions, or, when I'm thinking about what's the next thing I have to do for the school board, or like, why am I there? What's my purpose? It's always like, what is best for the children? What is best for the kids? I think in that way, it's an alignment in the sense that it's a really good reminder of, well, what are we here for? In the end of the day, it's not the politics. It's not even the budget. It's it's the kids. Like, how are the kids doing?
Right. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Aside from you doing all the candidate stuff and just you being as an elected official, what do you do on the weekends?
Let's see. I enjoy walking my dog at the park. I have a dog who I rescued, but really he rescued me in, let's see, last February. So he's become a really big part of my life. I also really love reading and
Okay.
listening to Audible. That's really what I do. That's really it.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
with that, I guess that's pretty much it. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for your time. It's been a
thank
pleasure,
you.
Caro. And all I have to say left is good luck in November.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate it.